Welcome back in the studio to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. What we're going to do today and what I'm going to do is open this show by saying everything that went well and was good on Sunday. We'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, I just saved a whole lot of money by switching to Geico.
Huh. We should take a closer look at Geico.
You know, Geico insures way more than cars, boats, motorcycles, even RVs.
Geico insures RVs? What's an RV?
The thing we've been stuck on for 5 years?
Wait, I'm not a real moose?
We've been over this, Jeff.
We're stickers.
I'm not a real moose.
Give him some space.
Deep breaths, Jeff.
What's a sticker?
Take a closer look at Geico. Great savings and a whole lot more.
Welcome back to the show. We're laughing not because something's funny, but there's nothing funny or good to say about the game on Sunday. Yes, they scored 30 points, but at the same time, they should have won that game. We're back in the studio. I got Mike, the Professor Baker here. Cool man G. Y'all know him as Gary Clark. We just call him G. And Donna Hopkins finally got her sources right. We're back in here, and guys, okay, we all sit here, and we thought last week, matter of fact, we've been getting a lot of praise about those shows. You guys did a good job on them the last few weeks.
Except for Donna.
Except for
Donna
you.
didn't do
Donna
that. I
didn't.
said Donna was really good.
Yeah,
I gave
Matter
you
of fact,
information.
they said when she brought up that information, that was hip. That must have been her cousin calling
Yeah,
in.
her family called in. She got her family
Right,
calling
got
in
all
all the
them
time.
I wasn't on the show.
Well, you know, that's what made it better. I've been messing with you. So let's talk about the game. We all expected a better performance. Offense scored 30 points, G. You're
Scored
supposed to
30
win
points,
with that.
you should win the
You should
football
win.
game.
When we
Typically.
played, Pettibone said, keep it at 17. We got them. And what do you guys think happened to the defense?
They didn't keep it at 17.
They didn't keep it at 27.
But Tony, but the defense, it's almost like you look at the secondary and they were just torched. It's almost like Case was going around the field, looking around the field, doing whatever he wanted. And when you look at some of the key people on the secondary get beat like that, I mean, no pressure up
You
front.
said the key. You said Case was looking around and picking who he wants. So what do you think that means?
He went right after the top cornerback.
Yeah,
Cornerback.
but he had time to do it.
Time.
That's
He
what
had
I'm
all the
telling
time
you.
in the world,
yeah.
You have to get pressure on the quarterback no matter what quarterback it is.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting when Jay, in the press conference, you don't often, Jay will sometimes speak his mind. He said it's the worst half of defensive football he has seen since he's been here. And then when Donna hung around and got a really interesting interview with DJ Swearinger, which we'll see on the show. One of the things he said was, and when the coaches tell you to do something, you need to do it. And it wasn't long after that, maybe 2 hours later, when news came out that he felt like they didn't practice very well on Friday and the intensity wasn't there. And so I guess he probably wasn't surprised at the outcome on Sunday.
Well, he said mentally also, it was some breakdowns. He said it starts mentally, and he said after that, if you don't do the mental things, the little things right, then it's breakdowns. So that leads me to say that somebody is not paying attention and doing the things that the coaches are telling them during practice, and it rolls over into the game situation, and he was mad.
Well, Gary and I, we've been on teams, and sometimes teams start to read their own highlights and read the newspaper a little bit too much. And after that win in Seattle, maybe people thought that they had all the questions answered, but they weren't. And we just can't say the defense. I mean, Cousin had a really good game, but I saw some overthrows, I saw some drops, and they're still not running the ball.
Well, that team
Still
was
scored
5
30
for,
points, though.
I knew you was going to begin. Wait,
I was saying.
He didn't want to say nothing. But why do you say the defense got a pass rush every night? They scored 30 points.
But Tony, even they scored 30 points, when they get into the red zone, and Coach Gruden talked about that, is that they are having problems in the red zone. They get down there and settle for a field goal. And then on third down conversions, They're like 46 to 116. So they're not getting it done in those two areas, and they've got to be able to run the ball.
The most interesting thing
They
was
still
that
scored
this
30
team, the
points.
Vikings
didn't
were not.
win.
The Vikings were not good in the red zone. That was their
offensively.
one Achilles heel, and yet they were 5 for 5 in the red zone on Sunday.
Well, we're talking about this, guys. We're not going to panic. But you know what, Gary? They don't know anything about it. Let's
What?
go in the
Don't
panic
know.
room.
They
Me
don't
and
know.
Gary
It's a
go in the
panic
panic
right
room.
there.
We'll be
Whoa,
back
whoa,
in a
whoa, whoa, whoa!
moment.
Where are you
Nothing.
guys going?
Well, it's really a panic.
You panicking me right now, Donna.
What? And now the panic room with Tony McGee and Gary Clark.
Well, we usually go into the panic room, but we're in the panic jungle now because this is deep. You know what, Gary, everybody's talking about it. We've been talking about it for weeks. Is it time for us to panic, man? I mean, you're an offensive player, and we got people hurt. You're scoring points, but at the same time, you're making mistakes at the wrong time. Same thing with the defense.
I don't know if it's time to panic, but it's definitely time to have some concern. I mean, right now you're not at 500 anymore. You got to make a run now. Now you really do have to make a run for the playoffs. I mean, at the end of the day, we can't afford to lose any more games.
It just seems like every year they come to this point where they got to win 3, 4, 5 games to be in it. And the way the things are going this year, I know Philadelphia has run off with it, but the rest of the NFC is right there.
Yeah, we had a chance.
Not just the NFC East, all the NFC.
Yes. I mean, there's a couple of lukewarm teams at 500 as well. So, I mean, if we can win out, I think we have our opportunity. But I think we do have to win out.
But usually when you panic, you got some kind of resolution. What would you think the resolution would be?
If you panic,
Panic
there is
more.
no resolution when you panic.
You panic because you're at the last moment. And what I'm looking at this.
I think you just have to focus. I think they have to focus.
Focus, that's a
They
great
have to
point.
focus. And then they have to step up to against Seattle, someone stepped up, made a play. I think that's what's going to have to happen for the rest of the year. Somebody's going to have to step up and make a play when the play's needed.
Now, we can't say injuries are a big part of it, but they are a part of it. But at the same time, these teams are supposed to be prepared to handle injuries.
I mean, like, perfect example. We had a lot of people come back last week. We lost. We had people that had only been there for days, and we won against Seattle. So the injury thing doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, I'm a professional. I have to step up and do my job.
We got a minute left now. We got Donna and Mike on the show. We've been kind of lagging around.
Mike is
and,
awesome. I'm not sure what we have Don on the show.
But you're a professional, man. What are we panicking about them? What are we going to do about
I've been
them?
panicking about Donna for a long time.
Why are you so hard on Donna? Mike got these glasses
Because she
on
gets
and
these,
everything, man.
these
What's the
sources,
deal?
and I think it's just her family. Because she got about like 500 people and her cousins, and 300 cousins, and they're all like in Beverly Hills. So she thinks she's like fortunate because she's just a little
But
rich
what's
girl.
Mike with these new glasses and everything? His
Mike's
pic's
a
been wrong?
professor though.
Is
He's
he
a
the
professor,
professor?
and it's just his way of bragging about all those trophies he got, all those awards he's won. He got them all shined up, polished.
Man, I'm about to panic now. I tell you what, when you look at this panic room, we making fun with Mike and Donna, but when you talk Washington Redskins fans, don't panic right now, but you got about 5 minutes, then you panic. Because I tell you what, they can't go further. But and one last thing, what do you think the coaching staff is feeling right now?
I don't think they're panicking, but they're concerned.
You heard it here first, Gary Clark. When cool men get concerned, we all better listen. We'll be back in a moment.
Hey, James, I know that, they probably already asked you this, but it had to be frustrated because you know what you can do out on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was frustrating. In the midst of, I had some good plays as well, too. And, I'm just going to look at the positives, and I already know that I can clean up, those drops. I'm not concerned with those at all, so just going to keep going.
It's almost like, we're down 1 week, and then the defense is up 1 week, and then the defense is down 1 week, and then we're up 1 week. And we just got to find a way together and come together as a unit and put all 4 phases together and go out there and play.
Well, you know, you can talk about the past a lot, and it does no good. So let's start talking about the future. They got a team that they were on to at the beginning of the year, guys. They've won 7 in a row, and they have something that's similar to a defense now,
Yeah.
and a running game. So last week they run for 298 yards. What does the Redskins have to do in this game?
Tony, it's funny that you say that they've got a running game now.
Wait a minute. You guys don't believe in it at all?
No, they're not.
Look,
They
you're
are-
not saying
Nobody,
nothing.
you're the only one saying
They
it.
don't say.
They're third in rushing, Don.
Well, but that's the reason I said they've come back as a team. This is a team, New Orleans, that had pretty much disappeared. They've got new life now, and they're not so much one-dimensional as far as passing. They beat you running the ball now between Ingrid and the rookie running back that they just got. Like Tony said, 298 yards. The Redskins defense got their work cut out for them this week.
They're averaging over 400 yards.
But let's
per game.
digress before we jump to that and jump on this defense now. Last Sunday we said the defense did not do their job. But don't you think if you put the equation together and the offense keep the ball a little longer rather than 3 and out, or rather than a long pass and then give the ball back, if they had a good running game, you think that could have
We
helped?
should throw a long pass and score a touchdown. We should hold the ball a little longer.
I'm trying to get some good out of this some kind of way.
He said establish the
He's
running
right.
game.
Early in the game, they were 3 for 3 on passes over 30 yards.
Yeah, but I'm talking time-wise. You got to keep
So you
you
said
saying-
run the ball.
You're trying to say our defense,
Touchdowns.
we got to keep them off the field. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not trying to say that.
But get points. We
He
don't want
said
points.
it. Look, but you told Tony, if they run the ball, if the Redskins establish their running game,
They scored 30
that's,
points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they scored 30
You know,
points
I
because they're
can't
going
get
to
around
need
it.
30 points against the Saints.
But I thought Perine kind of came on in the fourth quarter. I mean, Kirk even mentioned they had 4 or 5 plays, positive running plays in the fourth
scored
quarter.
30
Yeah,
points
but you
now.
know what? You can't just come on in one game.
Yeah.
They are afraid of him putting that ball on the ground. Everybody know he's a pretty good running back, but it does no good if you're going to lay it on the ground.
They got to
Let's
believe
get to
in
this
it.
New
They
Orleans.
got to believe
Breeze,
in it. Well, they're not going
the
to
thing that's scary about New Orleans, they're winning without Breeze. He hasn't thrown a touchdown in 2 weeks.
He don't need
That's
to.
scary.
They just run it in
And
every
their
time they
defense
get
is
it.
holding people. Their defense was terrible.
You're talking about the running game for the Redskins. Remember, Rob Kelly, he's out this week, so the Redskins are down to 2 running backs. They're looking for a running back. Going in, they had Matt Brown, who is now in Minnesota.
Yep.
So they're in trouble in the running back
They
situation.
just need to deceive. Everybody running, passing, whether you're passing well, you're running well. At the end of the day, you need to deceive to make sure that they don't know whatever
Exactly.
whatever you choose to do. The key is to make sure you deceive the other team.
Well,
You
Minnesota
got to
knew
be
what they were going to
two-dimensional
do.
is what you're
No,
saying.
offensively,
You can't just be one-dimensional and everybody know when you're going to go.
it's a
It's
problem.
just like when Jordan Reed come back, they know on that third and must have it. We had a
gonna be
guy in
him.
my, it was a guy in my hometown. His name was Must Have It. His sister's name was Got to Get It. With that being said,
You know, the one good thing
that
is
being said, when you must
Yeah.
have it, they know he's going to read.
Yeah.
So what you got to do is make people, as a defensive lineman, you want to make them feel, we may run this ball. That defensive line got to say, I got to play the run first.
But
And
Tony-
we don't have that.
marking.
I'm sorry, Mike, but the offensive line had everybody back in that Minnesota game. That was the first time in forever that they had all the bodies back on the offensive line, and they only gave up 1 sack, but they still was not able to run the ball, and they go sideline to sideline. Why not punch it down the middle? Is it because they just can't do that?
Because they look at the people in the middle and they know that the guards weren't really well. You can see them working on them during the year. The center is just getting back. So your 2 tackles were
Are you
really
making
your
up
foundation.
excuses?
No, I'm just saying, look, they may have been back, but being back and being well is 2 different things.
Yeah.
Then
Mark-
also having
yeah.
a back that's a power back, you know.
Yeah.
Fat Rob is our kind of like our power back, but I mean we haven't seen a power back like Riggins in quite some time, quite
Exactly.
honestly. So
Exactly.
sometimes you have to do what you do best, and what they do best is to the outside.
This
So that's
team-
probably why they tried.
yeah.
Unfortunately, this didn't work.
This
Yeah.
team's averaging 142 yards on the ground every single game. Mark Ingram runs between the tackles. This year we have Zach Brown. I don't think they're that successful running against the Skins. I really don't. I think Zach Brown's going to step up.
You got about
and shut
11
that
seconds.
kid
Tell
down.
me why.
Because Ingram is not, he's not going to take it outside. He's going to take it between the tackles. And I think the inside, we can stop the inside rush.
I think
we can
you're
stop
wrong.
that. And really, I think they're beginning to step up. And Ziggy's playing really well in the middle. I don't see him taking it up the middle. I don't. I see it bouncing outside. That's it.
Well, you know, if Mike doesn't see it, but maybe he took those glasses off, he will see it when we come back. We're talking about the NFC East. Nobody did well in that, except for Philly, and they didn't play. We'll be back in a moment.
Defense, we just didn't come out and play ball like we did last week or the week before that. It can't, be these fair weather games where, we're not clicking on D-line and then secondary and then, linebackers. We got to come out here and be consistent. That's the pedigree of a championship football team, and we didn't show that today. And like I said, we failed on the back end.
And secondary-wise, this is probably one of those games that you all probably said, gosh, we just need to forget this and move on.
No, from my aspect, that's how I feel, you know what I mean? I feel like we put the team in a bad position early on in the game, and it was hard for us to dig out.
We just got to lock in. We got to lock in what the coaches want from us. We got to take what we do in practice. We got to practice what the coaches want, and when we out there in the game, we got to have our mental on, A lot of the first half stuff, guys didn't have, they wasn't playing the game mentally, and we got to play the game mentally first before you can go out there and make plays. Like, you know what I mean? You go to a place like Seattle and get a W, you expect to come home and stay consistent. We can't have lapses. We go back downhill. We got to start back over, with that, So you got to stay consistent in this league as a defense, man. You got to do the small things right.
Coney Island has been around for a long, long time. Reminds me of how Geico has been saving people money for over 75 years.
First date? Hey, big guy, come on in. Let me guess your weight. Win a prize.
Sure, why not?
12 ounces?
Sorry, mate, 4 ounces. I've been taking the stairs lately.
You win, big guy.
Sorry. Excuse me.
Wow, he looks so much more real on TV.
Yeah. Over 75 years of savings and service. Get your rate quote today.
Well, you talk about the NFC East, and we said that they did not have a good week. Philadelphia, the only one didn't play, didn't lose. What do you think? Look at that. You look at Dallas, they lost. The Giants,
They
they made the 49ers look good, but see, I'm afraid of them still in Washington. No one's getting closer, but I just got a feeling that Philly's going to lose this week.
Your feeling is wrong because they will not
Even
lose.
though I'm picking them,
yeah,
I feel
right.
like they're going to lose.
I
want to
so.
just say it on television.
They got the running game going. They got new receivers, the quarterback. They not losing.
They got it all. Although I heard
Dallas can't
Carson
run the
Wentz is
ball.
not 100%.
You know what? You say I'm gonna change my pick right here on television. I'm going with Dallas. Okay.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you really going with Dallas?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
They said never change your pick.
Just because you guys said.
Don't you guys? Only Donnie did.
I want you to, and to
All
take
right,
that L.
There are only 4 teams that are really favored to win the Super Bowl, and Philadelphia, believe it or not, is number 3, and number 4 is New Orleans. The Skins come in to favor to win the Super Bowl at 1/10 of 1 point.
Well, you know what? See, you one of those naysayers that talk about. I remember one time when I was with New England, we went 6-1. That's only when they had 14 games, and we ended up 7-7.
Yeah.
Okay, that can happen. Philly started off hot last year. Then they hit the hiccups. They've been off, They've been reading their highlights and looking at the headlines. You watch.
You're trying to
Hey,
convince
Tony,
yourself, man.
Tony,
You're trying to convince
Tony,
yourself
they
about
may
that
have,
pick.
They may have some hiccups, but they're going to drink that water and get rid of the hiccups.
But let's talk about this Giant team. They put a lot of money in the defense.
They did, and that should be a lesson.
And now they trying to act like Manning, who
You
he's
should put
never
the
been
money
that
into
great, but they
offense.
act like he's not the quarterback any longer.
Like they should put money into the offense, Tony.
Well, they don't have no receivers.
There you go again.
Yeah. But they don't have any receivers. They were depleted as far as the receivers.
Well, do you
too.
think one person, Beckham, getting hurt like that was a big part of
That's
this?
what they
where
said. He
season-
went down
but
early
They were
in the
losing
season.
before he got hurt.
That's what they said.
There's
They
something
said.
else happening with that team.
It's coaching, and
Well, now they said he may not keep his job.
You remember when we had Jackson last year and he was down, year before last, he was down 4, 5, 6 games. You remember they couldn't stretch the field. The minute Jackson came back, they got into the playoffs. I mean, it's the same thing with the Giants.
But they lost Marshall too.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
still think the same thing that we're saying here. They can't run the ball.
And that's
the basis and the foundation of a good team. I know, Gary, you a receiver and everything, so I'm not going to give you a chance. I'm going to take it out before he get a chance to talk about it. You got to run the ball to be good. So when we come back, we'll talk about what it takes for this team to win and go forward. That's right, Gary. We out.
Ah, the Ravens, never fleeting, still are winning, still are winning. But when the pests come knocking at your door, and the bees that bumble sound like the roar of the stadium's rumble, and you see the ants and roaches creeping and crawling as the moonlight hits the floor, have no fear, for PMSI will rid you of those pests to scamper and scatter on your floor. Once they treat, nevermore.
I'll have the langoustine lobster ravioli.
For you, sir? The original call was for langoustine ravioli. Langoustine is a tiny kind of lobster. Slight shellfish allergy rules that out. Plus, my wife ordered the langoustine. I will have chicken tenders and tater tots.
If you're a ref, you way over-explain things. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico.
Sir, we don't have tater tots.
It's what you do.
I will have nachos.
You know, when somebody who's won 2 Super Bowls is bugged, we like to find out why. Gary Clark.
Hey, Michael.
What's bugging you?
Well, first of all, as you can see, I'm not the pretty blonde that's usually on the show. I'm not Patty of PMSI because what's bugging me is the NFL as a whole. After games, when a team loses a football game, how long they stay on the game celebrating their loss with the team that won. That's really what's bugging me. It's I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't get how you've had a hard-fought game against this opponent. That opponent happened to beat you, and then you want to go smile at their face, shake their hand, hug them, take selfies, and go kumbaya. I have a problem with that. That's what's bugging me about the NFL this season.
I saw something even worse.
What was that?
I saw a Viking helping a Redskin up off the field.
What Redskin?
It was our running back.
Was it in the end zone?
It was Fat Rob. No, it was out in the
Fat
middle of
Rob.
the field, and a Viking helped him get up. Something's wrong.
Our teammates didn't help him get up?
Yeah, the Viking was the only guy around.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No,
but
I know.
All the kumbaya, when a team loses a football game, you should be concentrating on what you need to do to make up for the mistakes that you made during that game, and so you can win the following game, not group hug. It's not time for a group selfie. None of that.
And that's what's bugging Gary Clark.
Yes, it is.
Welcome to this week's Sports Bar Challenge. In this week's game, we have the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Dallas to play the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Crystal City Restaurant likes the Cowboys. Crystal City Sports Pub likes the Cowboys. Greavy's likes the Cowboys. Outback likes the Eagles. Hard Times likes the Cowboys. And Harry's Ale House likes the Eagles. Look for this to be a very physical game between two very physical teams, but pick the Eagles to win in a high-scoring affair.
We're proud to announce Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Scholarship Contest is back yet again this year. Eligible candidates will receive laptops if indeed your composition is selected. If you are a graduating high school senior, send in your composition. The subject this year is what can your generation do to impact how social media has affected our nation's security. So get those essays in.
Hey, Tony, what is up? I have some very good news for you. But first, what happened against Minnesota last week? Why couldn't the Redskins beat a Viking team with Case Keenum at quarterback? I'll tell you why. The Redskins have no idea that the Department of Defense is in Washington because they don't play defense. You play to win the game. And to win the game, you have to play defense. So get that together. Secondly, your quarterback's like a roller coaster. He's an amusement park. He's up 1 minute, down the next. Up one series, down the next. And Kirk Cousins is very, very mechanical. He's like this. He kind of takes the ball, goes back, cocks his arm, goes like that. Snap! Like that. And the other thing about Kirk Cousins, he has a cartoon character beard. Now, that's the good news because this week, Cartoon Kirk will go to New Orleans and masquerade as Cartoon Jesus. And the Redskins will upset the Saints and get back to 5-5. Book it. And by the way, Tony, it is New Orleans. It is always Mardi Gras. So do me a favor. Don't forget to wear your mask because they haven't seen many faces like yours. I'm serious. And I'm out.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Hire a Veteran Challenge and Live Show. It's coming up on Monday, December 11th, 2017. It's got a hiring fair and live show. Join us for Tony McGee as he hosts his second Veterans Job Fair as part of his show, Pro Football Plus, with Charles Mann, Dexter Manley, Santana Moss, and Gary Clark. Celebrating more than 30 years of broadcasting excellence, Pro Football Plus is an excellent platform to gain positive exposure in the local area. Meet qualified veterans, transitioning soldiers, and their spouses. In order to get involved, call this number, 703-282-0792. If you're a business and you want to be part of this job fair, this is the only place to go, so call now. And in the picks this week, you got to love it. Tony McGee, he's trying really hard at 23-21. Donna's 25-19. Gary is 31-13. A lot of threes in there. That's bad luck. And Mike is 30-14. Detroit at Chicago. Well, Tony's got Detroit. Donna's got Chicago. Gary's got Chicago. Mike's got Detroit. Arizona at Houston. And let's see. Tony's got Arizona. Donna's got Arizona. Gary's got Houston. Mike's got Houston. And Buffalo at the Chargers. Everybody's got the Chargers, but Tony's got Buffalo. Poor Tony.
I'm going out on the wire.
New England at Oakland. Everybody's got New England. And Philadelphia at Dallas. Everybody's got Philly, but Tony, he's got Dallas. I've never seen Tony pick Dallas. He's really desperate this week, Tony.
Well, I'm in fourth place, and that's what I'm going to do my tip of the week. Don't listen to me. I'm out of my mind this year. My pick said, no, don't listen to me. Now, I'm listening to you guys. What does team need to do to beat New Orleans? Now, they got a good offense. They're running the ball. Their defense is picked up. And as long as you got Breeze, you got a chance to win.
I don't know. I just think they have a better chance against New Orleans than I thought they had against the Vikings. I really do. And I think if you can stop the run and Ingram, you got a shot.
Stop the run, G.
Better offense, better defense. But at the end of the day, you have to stop them from scoring. They got good offense, pass the ball well, and they run the ball well. So stop them.
Yeah, all three phases of this team for one game at least have to come together and play because they never had all three phases of this team play at one time together.
And don't leave it up to the last minute. I agree with everything they said, but win the game. Don't give up points right at halftime as you did in the last game. At the same time, stop the mistakes. You can win this game. Run the ball better. Now, we've been a little silly in here today because we enjoy being back in the studio, but at the same time, nothing's funny about what happened last week. I don't want to come back with that weight, Riz. Can you hear me now? Not going to say goodbye in a minute.